Hey, I just wanted to make a quick video on something I've been reflecting on before I go to bed. So I'm in my bathroom. Don't judge me. My dog is out there and I don't want him barking. And plus, this is real off the top of my head, so just hear me out. So, you know how I said I just want to share what I'm learning as I'm going through my healing journey. So, something I realized that I've been reflecting on lately is about fear and self-doubt and apprehension, uncertainty, and just working through those emotions or those thoughts and feelings, and getting to the root of why I even have those why I even have that internal voice sometimes. What is that about? Okay, and so as I'm finally overcoming it for the most part, gosh, so I realized that the emotion and the internal voice that made me had fear, that made me feel uncertain, unsure, like I couldn't, self-doubt, like I couldn't trust myself. Those types of emotions and thoughts, and just that internal voice, period. That way of perceiving, that perspective related to myself, that was ideas that were seeds that were implanted in me for the most part, based off either based off of an external influence that was around, or something that was told to me when I was a child. You know, that age where we talk about like subconscious programming, and then you develop behaviors and beliefs and perceptions and perspectives as an adult that's derived from subconscious programming, right? That could be from your family, your friends, what you watch and see, all that. But in general, even if feelings of fear, insecurity, self-doubt, apprehension, uncertainty, any of those type of thoughts or feelings, or an internal voice like that, is a seed that's been implanted in you, either by, when you were a child, or from an experience you might have had as an adult, where your perception of that experience made you feel at the end of it that you like insecure, or it was something about you that made that the result of that experience happen that way. But as I've been reflecting on it, I'm like, that's why I'm just so grateful. It's important to really try to build yourself up spiritually and understand like what is really going on, and who the almighty divine force that is the reason this whole world exists. What does he say about me? What does he think about me? What is my worth to that source, to that divine source that's beating my heart? What do he say is true and is the truth, and how I should be thinking and showing up in the world, and my self-perception? What does he say, or it say? What you might, no matter what you call that, no matter what the name you tie to your faith, it could be Buddha, it could be Allah, it could be any name. Some people, the divine, the universe, whatever you call it. It's important, and I'm grateful for the time that I'm taking to introspect on this. It's important to understand and get that clarity from within, and just as you self-study and read different information, or whatever it is that you use to gain this wisdom, so that your mind won't be infiltrated, and just not infiltrated, but your mind won't be bogged down with the heaviness of negative self-talk that makes you fearful and makes you insecure and self-doubt, uncertain, scary, and just can't make decisions. Though that type of internal voice is seeds that's been implanted in you, either from people you've been around as a child or experiences you had in life. But either way, it's not true. And those type of seeds that's been implanted in the psyche, that make you live your life a lot more just smashed down and insecure, and just in this safe, in the box, cookie cutter type of a way, worried about what people think all the time, needing to seek external validation to feel like, what a decision you need to make is it's okay as long as this person, like all those type of seeds that run through our mind, or at least I realize those are seeds that's been implanted in my mind to make me be an adult that goes through life with all this negative self-talk that distracts you from ever living your life to your fullest potential and getting to a place in your life where who you really are and your capability and how creative you really are, or the passions and the goals that you actually can accomplish. Those type of psychological seeds are implanted into a lot of us to keep our flame out. It keeps your flame out. It's almost designed, those type of psychological mental those type of psychological programmings, conditionings, internal voices are seeds that are implanted into us to keep us from becoming a person before we die, becoming a person that's fully realized of who they are, their potential, how far they can go, how can they make a difference in the world, how can they think outside of the box and be somebody who is like a visionary. Those type of seeds are planted in your mind to psychologically oppress you from ever getting to the maximum potential of who you were actually here created on earth to be. So it's almost designed to keep you oppressed, to keep you down. So I just wanted to share this because I realize now, and I'm so grateful to take the time to get all the fitnesses they talk about: mental fitness, physical fitness, financial fitness, spiritual fitness, and mental fitness. For me, at least, those are the core. Those are almost the most important. And then you go into the other ones, because if your spiritual and your mental fitness is tip top, and you know who you are, why you here, and what the creator of this universe, what he feels about you, essentially, what other folks think about you, or even if nobody says anything to you crazy. If you were raised around insecure people, or people who fed you information that made you become an adult that was fearful, insecure, apprehensive all the time, uncertain, self-doubt, and it's because unintentionally the adults around you gave you information, shared with you information that they thought would protect you based off their experience, but they didn't realize their experience and the psychological perception or perspective that they gained from that experience, because they weren't able to truly look at it, reflect on it, and heal the mental impact that experience had. But instead they gained a conclusion, a new perception or perspective about the world around them, or a self-identity that was actually disempowering, that made them feel powerless, and then they went and passed that information on to a child or a grandchild. That's why it's important when you become an adult, you need to start to get isolated and start asking deeper questions to yourself about life. Why do I think this way? Why am I fearful? Why am I always uncertain and unsure? And you might can trace it back like I did. And I'm just so happy. It just truthfully, I feel like that's what freedom and liberation really is. To peel back the onion of your psyche and understand, try to be more, get the clarity you need for why you think the way you think, why you behave the way you behave, why do you self-sabotage. Get the clarity, and the only way you can do it is if you get alone and be with your thoughts, and maybe write down those questions or things reflect on life, and it'll reveal itself to you, and you can journal about it, or just record your voice video diary, or voice recorded diary, so then you can have this to make reference to. And then you might hopefully come to the conclusion, like I have, that a lot of the ways that we think, I don't care what your race is, and I don't care how much money you got. You can be poor, you can be rich, any race. If you are a person that's running around with an internal negative voice, negative self-talk, emotional baggage, where you feel insecure, you feel insecure deep down, but you cover it with over excessive achievements that you go after to try to counter how you feel inside, or how you might have been made to feel inside as a child: unworthiness, unlovableness, not enough, any of those type of emotions that are inside of you now based off an experience that you might have had as a child, where your level of comprehension couldn't take that experience a different, more mature way. You internalize it as unworthiness. I'm not enough. I'm not lovable. So then you became an adult who was a severe overachiever in the material aspect of the world to compensate for the hole that's inside. If you're dealing with stuff like that, emotional baggage, sadness, fear, any of that, that's truthfully, no matter your race, your financial status, your gender, it doesn't matter. That's truthfully a form of, that's what slavery is. Slavery is slavery of the mind. So if you have those emotions, but you got a lot of money, or you have those emotions and you got a happy family, you're a person that's enslaved and don't know it. That's mental bondage. That's what that is. And so it's important to try to pause periodically so you can work through those type of internal voices. Because that is not the truth. That is not the truth. And it do seem like the world is designed where you are constantly running a rat race in a society, busy, distracted, where you can't take the time to pause, to work on things like this, like I'm trying to share that I've been working through lately. You can't even take the time to pause and try to work through your psychological, the mental internal chatter that may not be healthy. You won't even, if you don't pause, you won't even recognize or know that it's there, or that it's something that's under the surface that need to be reflected on, and introspected on. It's like the world is designed to keep you distracted and disrupted so you can never reflect and fix this stuff for yourself. So then you wonder why the past keep repeating itself. History repeats itself for reasons like that. And then we get the pandemic, which is awful, but the blessing in the pandemic is if you utilize the time to be still properly, the shelter in place, the pandemic forced us to have to sit still and be isolated, and provided the opportunity to work on some of this stuff that I'm sharing with you, that I'm trying to heal for myself. The pandemic allowed for that in a way. But it's hard to see it that way, because a lot of people, including myself in the beginning, I was so frustrated about the pandemic because I'm so programmed and conditioned to be in a person that's in my masculine energy, out in the world, constantly moving around, bopping around, trying to force and do money this or activity this, fun this, and could not be still and be isolated with my thoughts and be at home, enjoy my own company, reflect, just be quiet, stop being so busy and running around. The world programs a lot of us to be that way, so you can never even get to a point where you realize that you have a negative internal voice, and you realize that negative voice in your head isn't the truth. It's something that's been implanted in you, that's been programmed into you as a child, or either in adulthood, or possibly not even in your life. It could have been something that happened somewhere in your ancestral line, or either in your lifetime, an experience on either side, either in your life or that ancestral line. An experience created a belief, a perspective, a perception that was just powerlessness of fear-based thinking, and just limited belief systems, and toxicity. It's somewhere in there that experience created that mindset, a way of looking at the world, or a way of interpreting your worthiness as a person. And if you don't heal through it and try to gain more spiritual wisdom to realize what the creator of the universe, what he says about who you are, your worth, your value, you will fall victim to the seeds of the words that's been either passed down to you, or the way you interpret your experience whenever you went through some things that may not have been really nice. Your interpretation of it from your level of comprehension ability, or perception, perception, the way you introspect. Some people can't go deep and see it from different angles and get it that way, like understand that that experience had nothing to do with my worth or my value, or that experience was supposed to teach me a lesson that I actually had unhealthy boundaries. It wasn't supposed to make me be a person that's so fearful and unsure of myself. I'm scared to go on dates or something. I mean, this is just an example. So sometimes we don't understand what we're going through the right way. And then it creates these negative internal voices that are designed to keep you in a place where you live your whole life and get to the end and you have these regrets and this remorse because your potential and who you could have been and what you were created to do on this earth, it was never fully realized and able to be expressed into the world. You were oppressed. So the faster you can heal your mind, wow, the faster you're a person, at least for me, I realize the faster you heal your mind and come to the conclusion of what your personal truth is and build a strong relationship of whatever spiritually with whatever faith that you follow, so then you can know who you are and what that says about you and your existence and your worth. Then that's the fastest way to what true freedom and liberation means, at least in my mind. And I just wanted to share this because I think this is something for people to think about. Okay? All right. Don't judge me. I'm in the bathroom. I told y'all my dog out there, he be barking, but this is something that was just important. And I might be rambling because I'm getting a little tired, but you know, even if this helped one person, I think it was important for me to just share tonight. So I'm just doing what I feel in my heart to do. Yeah, so just I always forget to mention this, but like, share, and subscribe if something I'm saying make a little bit of sense. And that's just that. I just wanted to tell y'all, just know you're enough, you're lovable, you're worth it. You've always been good enough. And I mean, I've realized that now, and I just want to share that because that's how God sees you. And any other voice in your head that says otherwise, you're not enough, you're not worthy, you're a loser, or whatever, that voice is a voice. I mean, that's almost like the term spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare. That's where that term comes from. It's psychologically spiritual war. The devil is not really a person. The devil is a mentality, a perception, a perspective that people can adapt, that was pushed onto them either intentionally or unintentionally, of some distorted logic or traditional way of thinking that keeps you oppressed and keeps you in your head, and then it takes you down the road. You can become a person that's depressed or anxiety, all these other issues. Psychological warfare, that's the whole design, that's the whole purpose of all of that. So just remember that. I mean, take the time to try to heal your mind. And if you have any negative thoughts, any of that, just try to remember this video. All right, good night, bye.